Yo, what's poppin', guys? Welcome back to yet another Scratch tutorial. Today we are continuing our zombie game tutorial, where in the last video, if you remember, we created a system for our zombies to walk around, and they'll wander until they find us. And then once they get into a vicinity of us, they will start following us until we get out of that vicinity. Then they'll just go back to their little bit of a wander state. We also have shooting mechanic in general. You can't actually kill any of the enemies. Today, I want to set that up. We're going to set up enemy logic is what we're setting up today. As in their health stuff, what happens when they die, all that good kind of stuff. So, how we're going to do this is very, very easy. We're going to come to our enemy, and you'll see that we have this little wander thing of how we get the character, the zombie to move, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to move this off to the side, okay? And we are going to establish a cloning system. So we'll set up the cloning system, and then we'll change how it's cloned in a later tutorial when we set up creating your own rounds. So we'll just show what will happen when when a zombie spawns as a clone. So we'll have it maybe wait a second, and then once we start the game, we'll wait a second and then create a clone. Now what happens when a clone is created? So basically what happens when a clone is created, what we'll do is we're going to set up spawn points for where they can spawn in a later episode. Right now we're just setting it up so that it can be damaged. That's what we're doing today. Later episode we will focus on enemy spawning, like maybe creating spawn points for the zombies to spawn, only spawning in rooms you have unlocked, maybe only spawning in rooms that you're in, stuff like that. So, but what happens when they spawn in the first place? Well, what's going to happen is we need to give it a type, an enemy type. So we're going to make our list, and we're going to call it enemy settings. Okay, you know what? We'll call it in-game settings. We'll call it in-game settings. Okay, just like that for all sprites. So right off the bat, what we're going to do is we will set up something like this. So we'll come to our background, and this is what we'll do. We'll go to green, we'll make a receive and grab green flag. We're going to set up how many empty spaces we're going to want in this in-game settings right here, so that when the game starts, it'll load it up. So when the green flag is clicked, we will repeat right now only one time, because right now we're only going to be adding one thing. And we will just grab an add, make this thing a 0, and in-game settings. So what we'll do is we'll add a little comment here just to help us understand what each thing is. So number 1 will be the enemy type. Okay, that's what we're keeping in mind. Number 1 will be our enemy type. Okay, awesome. So what we'll do is before it starts the clone, we'll replace enemy 1 or replace item 1 of in-game settings or enemy type with whatever the name of this type is. We're just going to call it zombie, because that's I guess what that thing is a zombie. So then when you start as a clone, we'll do a check, and we'll grab an if else and put it in there, and grab an equals. Put the equals there. Come to our list, grab item 1 of whatever, make sure it's item 1 of in-game settings, and then set it to zombie. So we're setting up the behavior and the logic of the zombie enemy. That's what we're doing first. So if item 1 of in-game settings equals zombies, which it will, because we're going to set it and then create the clone, and then it'll run the clone and check this, what it's going to do is switch costume to normal. We won't actually need to act like I didn't do that right there. So basically, we are going to name these accordingly. So normal, I'm going to change it to say zombie, and then this one will be zombie check. And then this one will be zombie player check. Okay? All the same thing, just a little bit of a different name, because we're going to be adding other enemies that do other things. If you see over here, it automatically updated these from what they were to what they should be again. So you don't have to worry about that yet. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pick a spawn point for it. Again, it will be changed in a future episode when we actually cover spawning, but we're just going to say he spawns right there. So we'll have it go to 6691, wherever you want it to go, just for the time being. Again, once more, I'll say it again, in a future episode I will be covering in detail enemy spawning and enemy places to spawn, locations, stuff like that. So after it goes to that, what we're going to set up now is we are going to want it to give some stats. So we're going to make a variable, and we're going to call this enemy HP for enemy hit points or enemy health points. Make sure it's for this sprite only. You can hide it. We're also going to want an enemy damage for this sprite only. We're going to want an enemy payout for the sprite only. Enemy XP payout for the sprite only. So we have health, damage, how much money it'll give you, and how much XP it will give you. If you don't want XP in your game, if you don't want to have a leveling system, you don't even have to worry about that. Even if you don't want money to be able to buy things, you don't even have to worry about that. You don't have to put it in there. Health and damage are really the only ones that I'd recommend. So, one more thing we're going to want to add is enemy hit speed. And for the sprite only. All these are for the sprite only, so that they can be used for clones. So, before we even take this out for a second, just keep it over here. So we're going to set enemy health to whatever you want. I'll set mine to 20. So a zombie's health is 20. Then we'll do enemy damage. Maybe the enemy does 5 damage. Then we'll set enemy payout. Maybe he gives you $10. And then finally we'll set up enemy XP payout. Maybe he gives you 10 XP. Okay? And then, after you set up all of that... Oh, we forgot hit speed. I'll put that right under damage. Enemy hit speed. Maybe he'll hit once every 1 second. Okay? This is a time limit. I'll zoom in so you can see. I'm sorry, I haven't been doing that this entire episode. I'm so sorry. So, this will be how much health he has, damage, how many seconds it takes for him to attack, his payout, and his XP payout. And then we'll finally put back underneath where he spawns. Okay? We will just, as a default, set him to zombie, just so he doesn't glitch in his system of movements. And then, finally, you can get rid of this wander thing, since we won't need it anymore. I should got rid of it, right? Yeah, okay. And then we will take this and put it in a forever loop. So, forever, and then all of this. One thing that I forgot to add inside my wandering mechanic that I'd like to update now, that I've realized as I make a game that will be released in a few months maybe, that's going to be really good, keep an eye out for that, is they're going to add a wall collision, because he can get stuck in a wall, and we don't want him to even be able to go through a wall. So technically, if you were here, so if we were here, and the zombie was here, and it detected us, it could walk through this wall to get to us. We don't want that to happen, okay? So what we're going to do is grab an if, grab an if, or an if else. You'll do if touching color of the wall, right? We'll just put this up. Well, no, actually, you move that, change this to just normal if. And if it's touching the wall or the color, then we will go backwards one, just to stop it from, just a counter movement. So if it moves into the wall, and then it realizes it's touching the wall, it'll move back out of the wall. That's what that is. And there we go. We have enemy behavior for that. Let's check it out to see if it sets up all correctly. Okay. That's our problem right now. So we want him to hide right away. And then as he's a clone, he'll show after picking his costume. That'll do it. Now let's take a look. Yep, and then our zombie spawns in. Starts doing his thing, but as you'll notice, we still can't actually kill him. Now, why can't we kill him? That's actually a very easy fix. Well, not even a fix. We haven't added it. So, what we're going to need to do is... Well, firstly, before we even get into that, what we're going to want to do is make sure we come to our bullet sprite and make sure that we finally add enemies to this, so that as we play the game, and you come over here by it, that when the bullet actually touches the zombie, the bullet at least disappears, which there we go, it now does. Awesome. Fantastic. Now, what we need to set up is we actually need to set up the damage. So, we're going to add something to our in-game settings. 2 will be weapon damage. Okay, so make sure you switch this repeat 1 to 2, since we now have 2 things that we are adding to it. Okay, So now what we can do, so when we start as a clone, if player one of player setup equals this, it'll do all that stuff. So what we need to do is grab a little bit of a, not that, oh my goodness, is we will grab a start map, or a, on receive, start map 1, okay? We'll grab a forever, and we'll grab an if else and put it inside. I'm just going to take this as an example and put it in here. So if 2, meaning our weapon damage, if 2 of in-game settings are weapon damage, well, no, actually, I'm sorry. If 1 of player setup is pistol, we need to set it's the pistol's damage now. So we will grab a replace item 2 of in-game settings, or our weapon damage, with however much you want our pistol to do. I'll use 5 as an example, so that it will take 4 shots to kill a zombie, since a zombie has 20 health. 4 20s, or 4 5s is a 20, so he'd kill the zombie. If you want to make that higher or lower, completely up to you how you want to set that up. And then for every single other weapon you make, you just duplicate it, put it in here, change the name of the weapon, and then the damage output, just like that. So there we go. You have that set up. We'll come to our enemy, and now we'll actually work on coding in a system where the enemy can get hit by the bullets and die. So how we're going to start off is we're just going to come to our control, and we're going to pull out an if statement. I'm going to keep it out here for now. We'll put it in here in just a second. We're just keeping it out here so we can focus on it. So we're going to do if touching bullets. So if, go to sensing, grab touching, and switch it to bullets. Then what we will set. So set our brightness effect to 50. Then we will go to our variables, and we'll grab change, and we'll change our enemy health, and we'll go to our operators, and we'll grab this join apple banana, and we'll put it in there. The first one, we're going to want to put a dash or a minus symbol, and then we will go to our lists and go item 2 of in-game settings. So remember, item 2 of in-game settings is our weapon damage. So that with a 0, -5, change your health by -5 or whatever your damage is. Then after that, what we'll do is we'll wait 0.01 seconds. And then we will set the brightness effect, that's ghost, set the brightness effect to 0 again. The reason why this wait is here is so that if this wait was not here, when you hit it, the brightness effect would seem to have not even done anything. Just like how here you don't see it switching through every costume, same thing goes for here. If I were to put a wait 0.1 seconds, you'd be able to see the other costumes, but since you don't, it only registers this last one. Same thing goes for here. If I didn't put this wait 1 second here, it would only register this last one. So we put it here just so it actually registers that it changes to 50 and then back to 0. Now we will grab an if and put it right underneath that brightness. And we will say, we'll grab a less than symbol. Go to our variables, grab enemy HP, put it in the first bubble. So if enemy HP is less than 1, meaning, 0 or below. Well, I guess if you want like decimals, you could do like less than 0.01. If you wanted to really make it technical, you could do that if enemy health is less than 0.01. Then what we will do is, first of all, we'll delete the clone, right? So we'll delete the clone. Now, if we want to add a little bit of an effect, what we can do is create a new sprite and call it blood splatter, or whatever you want to call it. We'll zoom in a little bit as I design this art really quick. So there we go, we have our blood splatter. You can make more costumes if you want to. I'm just going to do one for an example. So here's our blood splatter. Go back to our enemy and grab a create clone, put it right above, and make sure it's set to blood splatter. Now what we're going to want to do is come to our variables, type in enemy X for all sprites, and enemy Y for all sprites. Just hide those. So then what we'll do is we'll set our enemy X to come to motion and grab X position. And then we will set enemy Y to, you guessed it, come to motion, Y position. Very good. Just like that. Now with this, we can grab this and put it right underneath this counter movement. Just like that. Perfect. Now we'll come to blood splatter and decide what we're going to do. By that I mean we will first of all green flag hide, and then not that, sorry. When I start as a clone, we will go to, and again, if you wanted to have multiple costumes, you could do switch to costume, pick random one to however many costumes you had to do that. I only have one costume, so I don't even need to do that. Oh, I just voice correct, excuse me. We will go to enemy X in the X and enemy Y in the Y. And then we will decide which direction it's going to turn. So just turn either two of these work. I'm just going to use this one. And we are going to do maybe 10 to 270 degrees. It'll just randomly turn in a direction if you take a look at it as I do this. See, it just selects a random direction to be in. Just makes it look a little bit more random than it actually is. Then we will show. But first, I want to set its ghost effect to 0. And then we'll have it wait however long you want it on the field. I'll say maybe 3 seconds. And then we will repeat 50 times. Or however fast you want it to fade. The lower this number, the faster it'll go. Again, you're going to want it to be able to lead up to 100. So we will change our ghost effect by 2. Why 2? Because 2 times 50 is 100. If you wanted to go a little bit faster, you could do 20 and 5. 5 times 20, you know. But I like that. I like 50 and 2. So we're going to do that. Oop. It's 2. And then do a hide just as an in case. And then do a delete this clone. Just like that. Perfect. Now, what does this look like in game? Well, it looks like this. So we start up the game. He's going to spawn. We go over to him, ready to shoot him. He comes down. See, he turns white for a fraction of a second. And then dies, and then leaves a little blood splatter on the floor. Deku, it's above you. Don't worry about that. It's fine. You can fix this simply by grabbing a go-to and set front to back. It should, in theory, work. When we come over, and here he comes. And we do a little bit of damage. There we go. Yes, we walk over to our bullets. Our bullets don't. Okay, I think the reason as to why our bullets don't is because our bullets don't go to the back. Oh, that's not bullets. I'm stupid. Go to back layer. Okay, the bullet also does that, yes. So what I think it needs is... one second. Oh yes, just add this. Just make another start as a clone forever. It goes to back layer. Fixes all that for you. If you don't believe me, I'll show you. I'm sorry. Please don't be so mean. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best here. Comes around the corner. Bah! Get some shooty shoots. There we go. And you can shoot the bullet over the bloodstain. We walk over the bloodstain. Then it fades away into nothingness. Deku. What is it, my loyal fan? If these aren't... if this is for every sprite... What if there's multiple on screen and you're killing a lot at a time? Won't that interfere with where the bloodstain will land? No, and to prove this, I will do this, right? Maybe we'll spawn 10 enemies in, okay? And just for the sake of me, I am changing my bullet speed a little bit quicker for this pistol, just so that this doesn't take forever. Okay. So we come here, they'll start spawning in. Yep. Watch this, here we go, we're shooting a bunch. Here I'll even like just distribute it. Does not matter how many there are. It does not matter if you kill multiple at a time. Let's see if I can do that. They kind of stacked on top of each other there. There you go. Okay. Only last thing in behavior is setting up doing damage. So what we'll do is we'll come to this and we'll set up a 3. This will be player health. Make sure to change this repeat to 3 so that it actually adds it. We'll come to our player, and when we do start map, we will replace item 3 of in-game settings with how much health you want the player to start at. I'm going to do a solid 100. Okay. Alright. Then we'll come to our enemies, and we will grab an if. If, I'm going to borrow this and say touching player. Okay. Well, no. We actually have to add a player hitbox first. So duplicate your player, call it player hitbox, All I'm going to do is make it a bit larger than the player is. So it goes around the player, but is not the same size. I'll actually do a little bit bigger. Okay, and if you want to distinguish it a bit more, we'll just do this red, just like that. So this player hitbox can go bye-bye, or all this code can go bye-bye. Only thing we need to do now is grab a forever loop. Forever, go to player, and set ghost effect to 100. Yep, and we'll also have it go to the back layer just as a little safety. Make sure you show it. Perfect. So now it'll be on top of us. You just won't be able to see it. It's over us right now. If I did that, you can see it's there. Our hitbox is following us. Perfectly fine. We just have it at 100 so that it still registers but cannot be seen. Awesome. Back to our enemies. If we're touching the player hitbox, what we will do is we will wait, go to variables, and do enemy hit speed seconds, and then we will replace item 3 of in-game settings, or the player's health, with, go ahead and do a minus, put it in there just like that. Go to our list, grab item, oh my goodness. Item 3 of in-game settings, what our player's health is, minus enemy damage. So, what it will do is, if we're at 100, okay, it'll take our health, how much health we have, 100, and then minus enemy's damage. So enemy damage is 0 at the moment, so it would stay 100. Obviously, if the enemy damage actually registered, as I was just testing it there, to 5, it'd do this. So that's what it's doing right here. That's all. And we will also put that right underneath what we last made. So this is the end of the forever loop. This is the end of what we just made. Just put it right in between those two. And then finally, one more thing. We are going to do a if touching player, move backwards 1 step. Perfect. And we're also going to put that right underneath our first -1, just to keep it all even. So that way he doesn't go into our player, but is still touching the hitbox, which is why we did that. Okay. Make sure you delete all of in-game settings. Make sure you put that there. Okay, that's the issue. That's the issue. Okay. There you go. We do, that's what type of zombie it is. This is how much damage our character does, and this is how much health we have. As you see, as the zombies come in, they're going to come up to us, and they'll stop when they touch us, but start doing amounts of damage to our health. And then we walk away. Obviously, just had to do a little bit of a buffer there, but look at that. And now we can just completely demolish these guys. These enemies to finish it up. And then we'll add a death thing later in a different tutorial. But there you go. There's some enemy basics for you. Don't worry, in another episode I'll be doing some random enemies that I'll be adding, just some extra random ones. So if you have ideas for enemies that you'd like to see, definitely put those in the comments so that I can hopefully implement them for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to end the tutorial here. If you liked it, then like it. If you didn't like it anyways, because this series is going in a really good direction. Also, again, I have a game coming very soon. Well, not soon. It's probably going to be another month or so. But I hope you guys are going to really like it. It is so much fun. I've been putting so much work into it. While you're at it, I want to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy my content. That helped me out a lot. Thank you, Coach, for being our editor. Subscribe to DK Galaxy, to Spellbound, TCG. Join Discord, link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.